Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. The opinions expressed in the following podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide education and entertainment about the financial industry and the stock market. Enjoy!
On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we hit the 2021 pep talk, and getting off to the year is a good start as a trader, bringing back that bad motherfucker mentality and the PS5 Winner giveaway.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Oh, you guys know we only have a 40% runner. Hello, 40% is a fucking killing.
We've been compliant for too long. It's time we go to war.
I don't have a Roth.
Hugh knows so much about the market that his brain doesn't have enough room for grammar.
Hey, who told me about IDEX? It's going up a shit ton now.
Rob, 4%, baby. No way. 4 fucking percent.
You asked the exact same question with 2 words different.
It's like, man, I just got dick whipped for like 20%, and now that f***er's up like 50.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
I'm just making this voice memo to call out unusual whales to a fight.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us. Pennies.
Going in raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity of Dips,
and Hugh Honey.
Produced by Vinny.
And Christian.
Let's go, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Pennies Going in Raw. Today, it's a special day. It's the very first podcast of 2022. 2020, and just so everyone knows, I do it every time, January 2nd. But 2020 got so many people into trading. The market was so amazing the whole time. It's just, it followed these trends, and it was given that 2008 esports vibe where it's like, you clearly know there's something bigger. 2021, you got it started out with everyone being on the same page. Hey, we're taking AMC and GameStop to the motherfucking moon. And what a ride, just from like, you got to think the amount of retail traders must have doubled, if not tripled. And if we're just talking about people who do this as their only source of income, it may be like 5 to 10 times more now than what it was 2 years ago. And then it's just like all of them coming together with AMC and GameStop. Then it gets a little slow, gets hot. It's like finally people are kind of getting into a rhythm of, hey, I'm getting the waves of the market. And now we're seeing 2022. We're going to see who's going to be the people who maintain longevity, the people who were just frauds in the market. You may see some gray areas filled. It's just a bunch of things that this third year that I think this 2022 is really going to bring up. I know I'm acting like the market was invented 2 years ago, but I mean, after the coronavirus and everything, I mean, this is a very new era, and what a wild time to be in.
Yeah, to your point about the market being created 2 years ago. I mean, in a way, kind of. I saw a stat recently that said that in the prior existence of the market, and we might have talked about this last week, but in the prior existence of the market, we have put that amount of money into the market in 20 months as the entire previous existence. So it only took us 20 months to double the entire prior existence. And I think most of what you're talking about with all these new retail traders going full time and just retail traders in general is that there's so much more volume. There's so much more liquidity. There's so many more opportunities than ever before.
So sorry to interrupt you right there, but this is just to show you guys how crazy like these past 2 years have been. By the market was just invented. Okay, so I don't know exactly what increment Google Trends uses, but January 26th to February 1st, and it's all in these like 5-day ranges, the term stocks to buy 9, 11, 10, 8, 7, okay? Literally 2 weeks later, March 15th to the 21st, 87. So it's already up 8 times immediately. You know, you go, it's automatically double all the time, at least, if not up to 8 times. And then, you know, you get to the start of 2021. Let's see what it was. February, you know, the AMC GME week, the first week of February, it's at 100. It is the thing to search. This may just be percentages of like most, but yeah, I mean, like it is. Yeah, that's when it happened. I mean, and it's not exactly the market's brand new, but it's changing.
No, exactly. This was the first. I truly, when I first started trading, never in my wildest dreams thought that random people. I don't want to say random people on the street, but like my neighbors would be bringing it up in random conversation. Like they have no idea that I'm a trader, my neighbors, and they're bringing it up like, "Hey, like, did you buy any AMC?" Like I was like, "What?" Like, Kathy, what do you mean? She's like, "Oh, like my son's buying it. You know, it's like the hot thing. Apparently, it's gonna go crazy." And then the other thing that I want to talk about was that I looked at SPY. So last night I looked at SPY on the on the yearly chart. It's nuts. The candle on the daily chart. Actually, really the last like 2 or 3 candles on the yearly chart are absolutely bonkers. I mean, it is just a straight up candle because, you know, obviously we finished near highs and it is a massive candle. I think SPY finished up like 27%. That's insane. And I don't want to guess because I'm not an economist. Well, that's not right. Economist. Yeah, economist. One, I'm not an economist. And 2, I think that so many different things can happen. But obviously it's not sustainable to do 27% a year. But as we just talked about, we've pumped so much money in the market and there's so much liquidity in the market that what's going to change that? Even if the Fed completely stops buying, I mean, like truly, what is going to stop that? But 27% is not sustainable. I mean, we would be, I mean, that would be nuts. I mean, every single American that had a 401k would be a 8-figure net worth.
No, I mean, the whole millionaire thing, like, you know, it's like the percentage of millionaires once they're, 60, it's got to be a decent amount just because of savings, and you need a good bit to retire. And it's already like, if you're white male raised in a middle class home, you already have a 1 in 5 chance. If that thing's doing 27% a year, oh my gosh.
It's nuts. I mean, we go, everything that we do is on a historical data of between 6 to 8%. And so to do 3.5 times that is nuts. And I mean, again, it's not like the market had like was down 15% last year and we rallied and then we closed up 12%. You know what I mean? Like that would average it out. It's truly like last year we were up 100%
from the March, and it was like, wow, it's insane. No, I mean, remember the day when we had twice as high as it was from the March low?
It's nuts.
The fact you could get 100% gainer on a stock and it's fucking SPY in less than 12 months. Maybe it was probably more than 12 months, but like 16 months is insane.
Yeah, I know that it was being floated around a lot on Twitter, but so many hedge funds didn't outperform the S&P 500, which is usually the benchmark for funds.
AMC.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they finished down 41% this year annualized. Which is, I mean, that's nuts. I mean, imagine being like a billionaire with 500 million there. Ooh. But I think that'll be really interesting. One thing that we'll say and then we'll move on is that I think that if you're a trader right now, especially like if you're all in on this, like you're in it like Dan and I think that like take a second to stop and smell the roses a little bit, because as we just talked about, it's certainly not sustainable, but this is truly nuts. Like we've seen so many different history points inside the past 16 months. like it's incredible. It feels like every week we're creating history. And I don't mean just like SPY creating a new high. I mean all around liquidity. I mean the amount of hedge funds being blown up in AMC and GME. You know, like there's so much to it. So, and I think that one day we're gonna look back on this time period in the market and really be like, holy shit.
Like look at all the opportunity.
Look at all the opportunity. And that was the wild, wild west. Like that, like I truly feel like we're in like the wild, wild west right now. But instead it's, you know, trillions of dollars in the stock market, you know, instead of, which is just nuts. Like I can't stress enough. Stop and smell the roses. You know, I'm trying to like journal a little bit, if that makes sense. Like just like on the calendar for on the retail calendar that we all got, I'm gonna start like just writing down little thoughts and stuff, because I think that like I said, one day we'll look back at this moment and be like, this is nuts. Like this is crazy. Or maybe this does sustain and
man, what a dream.
Does like, oh my God, dude, could you imagine?
Dude, you'd be pulling up to fucking Wendy's and no one be working. Everyone's trading.
Yeah.
I don't have a job.
But yeah, I just think that I love it. I love it.
Okay, well, now we want to kind of get into the main focus of this one, which is making sure you get off to a good start and continue to develop your skills as a trader. Obviously, 2021 was a little different because it was like the chase market was so good. And not just that, the chase market was so good for the very obvious stock, which was AMC and GameStop. And you could have chased for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and still been fine. And doesn't really develop you as a trader, but just having that amount of money and the amount of people that probably got to PDT and were able to learn via that is amazing in itself, you know? And, you know, if let's say we don't get anything crazy and it's a normal year, not a
like the
year.
last 3 months.
Yeah. And
yeah,
you start off you don't want to start off bad. And you're not getting a crazy buffer. And obviously you still got to pay taxes. And I know a lot of you guys listening are not I don't know how to put it. You guys are a little risky. You guys are probably like, hey, you know what? Screw it. I need this money to keep trading. But if you lose that, you're screwed. Trust me, I'm in the same boat, man. I want to use all my money in my account too. But at the same time, I know like if something crazy happens and my account takes a 20% dip and then I have to pay taxes, man, it's really gonna hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a 50% dip on the account. Yeah. No, and you're right because we've seen. I don't want to call them layups because they're not layups. No trade is ever, you know, truly a layup. But if it's like what we've seen the past 3 months, you know, you're going to actually have to, you know, kind of actually learn how to trade. And so all this segment came from, I got this question and it was basically, I'm averaging about 2 to 3K a day. And that's really easy for me to get. The thing is, when I get to that point, I overtrade, most likely always lose the profit trying to be a home run trader. Do you think I should sit around the 2 to 3K average a day for like 2 to 3 months to build consistency and then try to take sides after that? I'm lost on, I don't know what I'm doing right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If that makes sense, I want to continue to develop. And that's a super common question that we get is that, you know, we make 2 to 3K a day is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So I'm gonna change it to, let's just say that you're making $200 to $300 a day. Okay, that's a pretty good amount. That's almost 6 figures a year. You know, it's between 50 to like 75K a year, which is a lot of money. But let's just say that you want to get to that next level, but you also don't want to necessarily pay that market tuition and give up your year, because a lot of times we talk about if you have no strategy, you know, or if you have a really good strategy and you're trying to take it to the next level, we don't really talk necessarily too much about like if we're inside like that $200 to $300 a day. You know, maybe you have a strategy, but maybe it's not great, but somehow you muster, you know, $200 to $300 a day. So the way that I would handle this is that, listen, keep doing your $200 to $300 a day. Okay. I can't tell you what you're doing right or what you're doing wrong through a text message, through a DM. If it worked like that, I would bottle it and sell it and, make $1 billion and have no risk. But that's not the reality. So the one thing that I would suggest is that keep doing your $200 to $300 a day. Okay. And then you'll feel if you should size down after that. So if you did 2 trades and they were $300 and it was like a clean 2 trades, fine. Maybe you don't have to size down and you can go for 400. But if it's like, maybe you took 4 trades and you felt like you kind of got lucky, like maybe you got lifted on the ask 1 cent before a kill candle, like you're kind of like taking a deep breath after making $200, size down immediately. Because if you're kind of feeling lucky and you're going to push that, it's probably going to end bad. Again, when most traders are hot, they're really, really hot. And when you're in your zone, I mean, I feel like I can make like my ceiling is not capped when I'm in my zone. But when I'm cold, I mean, I barely want to touch the mouse because I'm so fucking scared. And not scared. I'm not a bitch, but I'm like worried about losing money. So what that's going to do is that's going to ensure that you never give back. So once you make that $200 to $300, you're never going to give back that money completely. Okay, so let's just say you make the $300 and then you size down. If your typical trade is about let's just say $1,500 and you size down to $400, that's your absolute max loss. So if typically you're $1,500, you would lose that whole $300. Now you're only going to lose $100. You're going to walk away $200. That's great. But also, as you start to develop as a trader, because experience is everything and screen time is everything, as you start to get more comfortable.
Yeah, that your initial $300 risk, you can just make that $100 without having that strict, I lost that $300. Now it has to go. You feel it. You see that 125 hit and you're like, fuck, that's going to hit 300.
Exactly. And then you could take more trades. Your risk is less and you're still making money. Now,
you're able to cover more of the market as well because you're not just stuck to your one little, hey, I trade Sava every day for $300.
Exactly. But also the other part to this is that the most important part to this is that your first 2 trades or your first 3 trades has to be quality only. Like if you're making $200 to $300 and you have a strategy, boom, stick to that strategy and only take the best setups because that's the only way to ensure that this works, developing as a trader. Like I said, is that it's great. You make the $300, you size down, your max risk is $60.
Yeah, it's not like one of those video games where it's like, hey, I just hit level 60 on my paladin. I immediately have to go play a mage now. No, like it's not a game. You just got to the max level on that character. Now perfect it. Like you've gotten it to as good as it can be. Keep doing that and don't like. Yeah, it may be more fun when you're fucking playing options, but it's a lot more safe and profitable when you're doing what got you where you're at.
And at the end of the day, if your market tuition, so we talk a lot about market tuition. If you're able to make $300 a day and then you lose $50, but you're developing as a trader because you're still learning, that's worth way more than the $60. That's because you're still profitable. You still have a winning strategy, but you're still developing as a trader and you're getting that screen time. If you could take 4 extra trades and learn that much more and only give back 15, 20% of your day, that's a win in my book any day of the week. But as we said, the most important part to this is that you stick to that strategy that makes you the $200 to $300 a day. And you have to make sure that those trades are good. Because if you start down on the day and you instantly start down $200 and obviously, you're not going to have a 100% win rate, but if you start down $200, I mean, that's where you can quickly roll, like that's one of those times where like, maybe don't develop that day. You know what I mean? Like maybe try and get back to even, or maybe just take your little haircut and call it a day. But the worst thing that you can do is not make that 200. try and take that like riskier setup or like that setup that you're trying to learn and then get smoked and then try to make it back on like low liquidity lunch hour. And then you get smoked even further. And now you just gave back a week. So sure that those first trades.
Even as like a swing trader, you can wake up down a lot. And I know everyone says add when sad, but you can already be at that point where you're like, I have enough of this stock. Even if I'm down, and you have to accept the fact that you can't add, you can't sell, you can't do anything, because it's like, I don't need any more of this stock. I have far too much. If this continues to downtrend, I'm fucked. But don't want to sell because the reverse, the chart's setting up for a reversal. Okay. But if it's down, you just have to accept that. And that's one of the things where it's like, you got to wait through these low volume hours. You got to wait through the low volume days. I mean, there's just sometimes days where you have to not be a damn stock market crack addict and chill.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And to your point, I mean, the way that I always think of is that if you think that you're sad now, you can always be more sad. Like, like the dip can keep dipping. So always keep that in mind. Always wait for that reversal or that confirmation before you just start adding in there, blowing your load like, 10, 15, 20% of your account. Because that's honestly probably what screws new traders like the most, is that just getting way too big, way too quick because they have a smaller account and they focus way too much on the money over the process.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely so many rules for the newer traders that like kind of alternate as you get more and more. I remember like just starting off in like buy, sell, shorts room, and he was like, never have more than 10% of your account in the stock. And I was like, I got 80% of mine in this one. And thank God. I mean, it was working then. But like now that I've grown as a trader, I was like, I can't imagine having 10, 20% of my account in something. Like, that's wild to me now. I mean, just because I'm not doing hella DD like and trusting things like that. But I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just, things will change as you grow as a trader, as you grow your account, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And the one thing that we wanted to move into and talk about this year and going into this episode is bringing back like that hard mentality. We a lot of people had a really great year last year, and the last 3 months was tough for a lot, especially a lot of new traders. Everyone
just started playing extremely conservative. Like but we're up 17 at half, but the other team can still come back. And it's, especially if you're just doing your run plays, trying to run out the clock, but you're getting these 40-yard field goals, you miss some, the other team may fucking finally get back. You got your gains early in the year, but they can always go away. And I mean, you can either stop or you can, try and fucking keep playing aggressive.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing, is that, listen, it's okay to protect gains, but at some point, when you plateau, you gotta just fucking go for it. Like we're in a situation, you're in a situation as a trader where it's completely on you. Yes, there's outside market effects, obviously, and there's outside variables, but at some point, you got to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm not getting any layups. What the fuck am I gonna, I gotta sack up and I just gotta fucking go for it.
You gotta shoot a three eventually, man. If they're leaving you open for the 3-point shot, you gotta shoot the 3-point shot.
Exactly. And I know from my own experience, every single fucking time that I've been backed into the corner, I've been, balls to the walls, that's always when I've been able to like pull it out. That's able, like I'm able to slam it on the table, show what I got and say.
I withdrew half my account and had given up. Yeah. And that's whenever I got fired, put the money back in. I was like, well, let's really hope this works because I can't get a job. And that's when you perform your best. Exactly.
And the thing that you got to ask yourself is that, what's the worst fucking case scenario? Okay. Me, for instance, what's the worst fucking case scenario? I go back I have to try in school, get my MBA and go work a finance job that I don't want to work. I got to go work 2-3 jobs at FedEx or something. Fine. Fuck it. I don't have terminal cancer. if that's the worst fucking thing, like what? I go bankrupt? Okay, fine. I go bankrupt. The next 7 years, my credit sucks. And I get through it. I go buy another house. But if it fucking works, I'm going to be living the fucking life that I want to live. I'm going to be able to do what the fuck I want when I want.
This does change person to person. If you have, a wife and family and, or husband and family, whatever, kids, maybe don't say bankruptcy, fuck, whatever.
No, fuck it. You sit little Johnny down and you tell Johnny, listen, all right?
Like the
worst case scenario, it's gravy bread.
The start of the movie Blow, where he's like, Dad, I don't want to be poor. He's like, we're not poor, son.
Listen, Johnny, all right? Worst case scenario, you ain't got no college fund. You're working at night after school and you're eating fucking gravy bread. All right? That's the worst fucking case scenario. All right? Now listen. Now, if you have a mortgage and kids, maybe don't necessarily, make sure that you have that buffer, and always make sure you have that buffer. But if you're fucking school and, you were like me and you're not a great fucking student, like I just messed up the word economist. Okay. Like the word economist, I messed up saying. I'm a podcaster. I'm a public fucking speaker. Okay. Go for it. What's the worst you have to lose? Like I like all the time, you guys hear me talk about, oh yeah, like I lost my net worth. My fucking net worth was $7,000. Okay. Who the fuck cares? You can make that back at any job in a month or 2 months, 3 months. Okay. Fuck. I'll join the military. Okay. Fucking go for it. Okay, because all this like complacency, we were complacent the last 3 months. No more fucking complacency. Go for it. If you fail, have a stop loss in your account to where you size down to a 10th. But don't fucking do that bullshit to where you get scared of the market and then you become complacent with being scared. Because when you become complacent with being scared in the market, that's where you become a fucking pansy. And that's where your entire dreams and everything that you wanted goes out the fucking door. So go for it and say, what's the worst? Sit down and say, what's the worst case scenario? You got a wife, say, hey, listen, babe, I'm going to go for this. If this works, I'll make my salary while being at home and not have to commute. I won't have a boss that I don't like. But if this doesn't work, fine. I lost 30 grand or whatever it is that I built up. Ideally, you have that savings that we always talk about, that rainy day fund, and maybe you made a little bit of profit. If you truly have that strategy, or even if you don't have that strategy, fucking put in the work, put in the effort to do it. What do you have to lose? Yes, you have money, but guess what? The reward much more outweighs the risk. And I'm not just talking about money. Like I said, how many people don't enjoy their job? It's like a crazy statistic. Like 80% don't enjoy their job. Okay. They do it. Why? Because they need to. Okay. So if you can get out of that, if you had an opportunity to get out of that, who the fuck wouldn't take that? All of you have this opportunity. We all have that opportunity. Okay. Even now, like, do I want to lose the money that I have? Fuck no. But am I at the level to where I could just sit back, put it in a mutual fund and chill? Fuck no. I'm 23. I got a long ass life to live. And I like the better, finer things in life. Clam chowder gets expensive. Sushi gets expensive. So that's what I'm saying is that, listen, if you've been complacent the last 3 months, you kind of really haven't made much growth as a trader and on your account. Fucking take this new year by the balls and go for it. Ask yourself, what's the biggest amount that I have to lose? And then have an honest conversation.
Yeah, even if let's say you just ended the year and you were at, let's say you pay your tax, once you pay your taxes, you're going to have $42,000 in your account. Let's say, okay, I'm willing to lose 10 of that or 7 to get me down to 35K. I think I said 42. So 7K. And you can go hard with that 7K because let's say you lose it all. Worst thing up, you have 10,000 more than PDT. You can go back to, but I mean, you can't. I know it's funny that we started the episodes on some like conservative shit, and now we're like, but you do need these times to grow as a trader. I mean, like if the market does stay hot and you got to like know to take advantage of it, especially after it's been down and you do get like those January poppers, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's definitely something special. So we got to take advantage of it. And speaking of taking advantage, there was a little PlayStation.
A little PlayStation action. The after Christmas, after holiday blues giveaway. That's what I dubbed it.
We so we do it. We put them all in a virtual hat, and we pick it out. And if we have some like quote, tweet, or reply that we really like, we'll add a couple more for them. Just so people aren't just retweeting it, getting a free PlayStation, not even listening. Before we get into this, let's. Our winner, Froge TV at Off Coolidge, says favorite moment was really an episode was the one about blowing up your account, episode 120, because I blew up my account a day before that episode, and perfect timing. Really helped me stay positive and motivated. Y'all stopped me from giving up. Thanks. It's always nice when we can, get someone off the edge. So make sure you send us a DM. I'll send you one too. If he doesn't respond, retweet this episode and you'll be in the backup giveaway plan.
So this week the giveaway this week.
But if he does accept it, if he accepts it, you get the calendar. And we'll probably
how many are we going to give away this week?
No, like 3 to 5. We'll give away some calendars.
All right. So retweet this week's podcast tweet on a PGIR pod. We're going to give away 3 to 5 calendars. And then if he doesn't reach out to us, when you retweet it, you're also in the running for the PS5 again. Okay. So it'll be an entirely new contest just from that tweet alone. It was for me personally, I know that it was super cool to read some of the other ones. It's just awesome to see, I feel like some days, we get a little down, sometimes, and sometimes we don't necessarily want to do the podcast, and being able to see those was really, really cool for me and inspiring.
Yeah, no, it's always, having a bunch of reviews saying how much you guys love us on occasions whenever you guys are on a day you don't really want to go to work is always humbling and very inspiring. So yeah, shout out to you guys. Love you guys. We're going to have an awesome 2022. Thank you to everyone who listened to us in 2021. It was an exceptional year. We got the FinTwit Awards coming up next week. We're going to make sure everyone laughs and has great nostalgia from that year. Yeah, man, about to go celebrate the new year a little bit. Promised I would give these 2 loser girls shout outs to Chelsea, Hattie. I'm coming back out. And yeah,
isn't that nice?
I know, dude.
We have girls that listen.
Well,
I didn't know that.
They because everyone was like, because I was just out because we had a little miscommunication on when we were going to record the podcast, and I was like, all right,
that's
screw it, dude. If you're not going to respond, I'll just go out. So and then like right as I hopped in Uber, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, let's record," and I was like, "Uh-oh." So I had that on the mind all day, but got it done. So just a shout out to dedication and hard work.
Oh yeah, baby.
Much love to everyone. Let's have a kick-ass 2022 and expand those accounts. Love you guys.
Peace, homies.
Bye.
Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.